We're back on the MSG 150 at home, presented by Chase, Bill Pito, John Wallace, and Monica McNutt. And it's our great thrill to say hello to former UConn great, former Chicago Bull, and current head coach at Southern Connecticut State, Scott Burrell. Scott, great to see you. Are you going to let John wear the Syracuse garb throughout this interview, or are we going to have to stop it right now?
No, thanks for having me, guys. Number one, he can wear it, but he knows who the better school is. Well, right now, we're both struggling. But in the long run, we have more national championships than they do, so we're the better school.
Well, you got to do it. Definitely have more national championships. But like I will always remind you, your last year there, your senior year, we came to UConn and gave you that L, baby. Sent you home with an L.
I was hurt. My body was sore that day.
We beat you the next year, too, when you were in the NBA, but we still beat you the next year, too. Then the third year, Calhoun made us play on campus on Gamble Pavilion. It's the first time Syracuse ever had to, because he wanted whatever advantage he can get, and you guys beat us finally.
The attendance was going down because Syracuse didn't draw anymore. Thanks for having me, guys.
You got a lot of notoriety for the Last Dance documentary on ESPN about Michael Jordan. Some of the scenes where Jordan was seemingly harsh with his criticism towards you. How have things changed for you since The Last Dance aired? 10 episodes, and it ended, of course, last week.
Well, number one, I'm doing a lot more interviews. I've done about 200-something interviews, but it never really hasn't changed. People ask me, was he that tough? Yeah, he was tough, but he was tough to make me better, to prepare me for what I was going to face. Playing on other teams, you don't face the same things you face when you play with the Bulls. So it's basically getting brainwashed to prepare yourself to play for an NBA championship. And that's like no other team. You had to play on that. You had to do that.
Well, Scott, I wasn't worried about you, my brother, because I know we came from Jim Calhoun and Jim Boeheim, and those guys were really hard on you, especially in the early 90s. You had to be a tough player to play for those kind of coaches. So I wasn't worried about that. That was like water off your back. Yep. But how do you feel that you've been treated, since the whole Last Dance coming out? Everyone's saying that, Jordan was kind of bullied to you. You feel like he wasn't, because he's just trying to push you to be better, because at the end of the day, you have a ring. A lot of people don't have that ring that you have. So was it all worth it? And how do you feel now about the whole Last Dance?
Every bit of it was worth it. Like you said, I played for Coach Calhoun. He was just as tough or harder, but they prepared you. They prepared you for all the tough times you're going to be in. And especially with Coach Calhoun, he was at a young age. He molded us to be tougher and better for those Big East battles. Michael Jordan, he pushed you, but never touched you. So, all the people are like, you should have fought him, you should have fought him. What good is it if I fought MJ? Number one, I might be traded. All right. You wouldn't be talking to me. You wouldn't be talking to me if I was traded. I never would have learned from the best. I never would learn from the best coaches. And I wouldn't have been a part of history and a legendary team. So, taking criticism is not a bad thing. It's how you use it and what you learn from it.
All right. So, Scott, on that note, the documentary itself has taken some criticism from some fellow former Bulls in terms of the accuracy of it. Truth lays in the hands of the victor. When you look at the 97-98 season, do you feel like it was accurately presented through the documentary?
From my point of view, yes. I can't speak for Horace or Hodges and stuff like and Scotty in the past. But for that year, it was pretty accurate. It went from step A to step B, what we had to go through all year, what distractions we had, Dennis's part. I think it's really accurate from my point of view. I can't speak for other people, but hey, you saw what I had to go through, so that's all I have to worry about.
Now, Scott, at the time, now on the opponent side, I was playing for the Toronto Raptors that year. We knew the Jordan effect. When he came to Toronto, we normally got like 7,000 or 8,000 fans. When Jordan was in the building, it was like 30,000, 35,000. Did you realize at the time how significant that team was and was going to be in history in terms of the basketball and where it stands in history in terms of being one of the greatest teams of all time?
John, you know what? You can't prepare yourself for it. Obviously, we played against them on other teams, but once you get there, it's a totally different level of media attention, fan attention, the competitiveness of every other team you play against. Everybody's level goes up, and it's something once you get involved in it and you see it, you're like, this is awesome. But it's nerve-wracking at first if you're a new guy going to a team that doesn't know the offense. I didn't know anyone on the team. So it took me a little time to get comfortable and learn things and get to know how it is to be a Bull.
Scott, one of the central themes of the whole 10-episode documentary was the question, should you guys have been brought back for a chance to win a 4th straight and a 7th overall championship? After watching some of the things that were said and living it and having the benefit of time now, what do you think? Should you guys have been brought back for another chance at a title?
I definitely think that we should have been brought back, but have been, because every dynasty should end on its own, or if guys retire or injuries, whatever it is, or they lose. But I think it would have been so hard to bring everybody back. I think Pippen was hurt so much by that organization. It would have been tough for him to sign a 1-year deal like MJ said, or they suggested, unless you paid him $100 million, because he was getting older. His body was getting beat up. He deserved
That's
his
Wallace money right there.
Yes, yeah, I know. Oh, trust me, I know. It's more Syracuse money if you know what I mean. That's what John got to go to Syracuse. You can cut that out. But I really think it's been tough to bring everybody back, because everybody's free agents. Majority of the guys, my contract is up. I needed a new deal. Were they going to take care of me? Were they going to take care of Steve? There's so many guys and so many things, variables that would have to happen to bring everybody back. But I think they could have won 7. They could have won 8, because I think the Bulls owned the 90s, and it was just sad that it was broken up.
All right, Scott, I have 2 questions for you. First, how has it been being a head coach after being an assistant coach at Quinnipiac for all those years? And the second question is, have you used Jim Calhoun's coaching philosophy to implement your own type of philosophies with Southern Connecticut State?
Yeah, it's been awesome to be a head coach, because you want to put everything you've learned to a test and see if it works. You love the challenge of motivating your players, seeing kids grow up to be mature young adults. You love that and cherish that. Did I take anything from Coach? Yes and no, because Coach was really tough. And sometimes it's too hard. You can't be as tough as he was on us as you could be on these kids today, because I'm not sure if they like the challenge. Sometimes kids like to be average and just fit in, and Coach wasn't allowing that. You better bring it every day and excel and raise your game up to the next level to be Big East champs like we were and you weren't. Sorry. But I love the challenge of coaching young adults every day.
All right, Scott. Hey, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us. It was great to talk to you.
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, and be safe, please.
Thanks a lot, Scott. I appreciate it. You know why I didn't go to UConn? You took me on my recruiting trip. You didn't do a good job, buddy.
Hey, I did a great job, but we know why you went to Syracuse.
Coming up, guys, we're going to stay in the Big East. Patrick Ewing, of course, went to Georgetown. Great news concerning him, and we'll go over that when we come back next on the MSG 150 at Home, presented by Chase.